1988 World Championships. We're here with Gene Whipp, Chief Referee from the American Powerboat Association. Gene, what do you think about the record fleet, 106, 107 boats, and although the wind's blowing a little bit, what do you think?
I think it's just tremendous, Vic. It's obviously the World Cup Regatta here has become a truly an international event, and with the participants coming in from all over the world, and the biggest fleet of sportsman boats. I think that's the thing that I'm really excited about, is how the sportsman classes are growing along with the national classes, and I think it's going to be a tremendous show.
What are you looking for today for weather, and who do you think is going to fare better, the old deep V's or the new high-speed cats?
Well, of course, we had a front could just come through, and of course, when a front comes through this time of year in Florida, the wind will change itself around, and by the time we get out on the water today, I think it's going to mix it up a little bit. I think it's racing inside the reef, and mainly the wind's going to be out of the north, so it won't be real bad. But I think it'll make them honest. I think it's good for the V's, especially.
We appreciate you taking the time out. Gene, I know you got a real busy schedule. I'd like to catch up with you Saturday morning for just a minute and get some more of your views after a couple days of racing have gone by. Gene Whipp, Chief Referee from the American Powerboat Association. Thank you. Wish all the guys a safe race for me.
Thank you.
A start after that. There you see a view out toward Mallory Square, and some of the spectator boats already gathered at the start-finish line. We'll be joined Star Chaser passing BAM. Here we're coming up on D96. This is the Star Chaser race team. This boat is a 41-foot Apache Deep V bottom. This boat is powered by twin 800 horsepower Ritchie Zool inboard motors with Merc Cruiser number 4 outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Butch Montevecchi from Staten Island, New York. His navigator today is Jim Montevecchi from Staten Island, and from New York, it's Mike Florio on throttles. The Star Chaser race team, the Montevecchis and Florio, they've been together for a couple years right now. 1988 has been a very good campaign for them. The boat performed extremely strong. Admirably performance by boat and crew as well. These motors, the Ritchie Zool power plants, did a great job in conjunction with this Apache Deep V, and they had a fine performance. And right now they're coming out here to Key West to really do the job that they feel they can do. And someone who really helps out with the Star Chaser race team is a few of their sponsors that they would certainly like to thank. That's Lethal Weapon on the outside, hanging very competitively with Star Chaser. Lethal One is also an Apache hull, and these two boats will be going door to door, I'm sure, the entire race. You get some idea right there just how rough it is right now. You've got a good 3-foot chop right there, and these Deep V Apaches can really go through it with no problem. Meanwhile, back to Star Chaser race team. And as we were saying before, some of the big sponsors that they'd like to thank. You've got Profiles USA Limited, Ruggeri's Restaurant, The Cookie Store, Abancimentos on the Pier, Dodge Mopar Performance, the Shore Club Caterers, Dom's Market, Chef Romeo's from Ronnie and Mike, and the Lanikai Hotel. All these people have done a great job in helping Star Chaser get to where they are today. So there you have him, silhouetted with the sun in the background, the 41 Apache, known as Star Chaser Race Team, headed up by the Montevecchios and Mike Florio from Staten Island and Brooklyn, New York, the Star Chaser Race Team. Well, as you can see, we've got very good competition right here in your first and second spot in Sportsman D. Apache with a slight lead over the Lethal Weapon race team, who you see in your picture right now. Two Apache Deep V hulls going at it head-to-head right now. And now we're going to do a close-up of the Lethal Weapon race team. This is D44, Lethal Weapon. It is an all-red 41-foot Apache powered by twin Merc Cruiser inboards with Merc Cruiser drives, combined horsepower, 1,350 ponies underneath those engine covers, which are really doing the job right now for Lethal Weapon because they are hanging right behind the Montevecchis in Star Chaser. The Lethal Weapon race team is owned and driven by Lester Carrillo from Sparta, New Jersey. He's got Raul Gutierrez, also from Westfield, on the throttles, and his navigator is Donald Purley from Westfield. In this week of racing, the crew members play a vital part in the maintenance and helping out with this crew. And one of the best in the business right now is Steve Beck and Jim Patty, the crew members from Lethal Weapon Race Team. One of the sponsors that they'd like to thank is XL X-Ray Incorporated, Susan Elizabeth's place, who's done a great job in helping out the Lethal Weapon Race Team. Lethal Weapon has had a relatively strong campaign for 1988. 1988 was their first year of racing, and they placed twice in the 4 races that they have entered. The Lethal Weapon race team has switched from a fountain powerboat to this brand new Apache. And Lester Carrillo would also like to thank his entire office staff for putting up with their crew before each race. That's Louie, Cindy, and Tammy, who've done a great job in putting up with the Lethal Weapon race team. But right here you can see them really charging hard. They're attempting to close the gap right now between themselves and the Star Chaser race team. Earlier on, Vic Spellberg had a chance to speak with Lester Carrillo of the Lethal Weapon race team.
We're here Thursday morning with Les from D44, Lethal Weapon race team, 41-foot Apache. What do you think about the weather? What's it going to do for the big deep V's today?
I think that we have the proper weather for our boat. This is the first time we've ever run it. My crew has never even seen the boat before. So we're hoping to go out there and stay with the pack.
You say the crew's never seen the boat. You qualified for this race, I understand, in a different boat all season.
Yes, we were in a 33-foot fountain, and we qualified. The boat is not a real good offshore boat, but it got us here, and then, of course, now we're switching over.
What do you think the major differences are in the boat, other than just the sheer size of the 41 Apache?
Handling, the ability to keep the boat in the water. The other boat spent most of the time in the air, and it was tough. In 4 races, we did place in 2. But with this boat, we don't know what kind of power we have. It came right from Miami down here. It's never been up by us. And I'm taking a chance to see what we'll do. We'll have new motors next year.
Well, Les is going to go out and find out just what the boat does and what kind of power it has here Thursday morning. D44 Lethal Weapon race team off for their first race in a new boat. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
From Lethal Weapon, we come up on another D boat. This is BAM Race Team. Here you see BAM charging toward the checkpoint boat, where they will be heading down the beach leg of this race course. It is relatively much calmer here as opposed to the open ocean racing that you were witnessing a little early on with Star Chaser and Lethal Weapon. Right now, BAM Race Team is coming around the checkpoint quite nicely, in very good control of their boat, and it looks quite comfortable right here at this point in time. Now we get a good look at them. This is D28, BAM Race Team. This is a 36-foot all-red cigarette, and it is built from 1972. So this certainly does prove the durability and reliability of the Cigarette Boat Hull Race Company. A 1972 boat is out here. This boat is sponsored by Marina City Marina out of Illinois. This boat is owned by Mark Berman from Chicago, Illinois. His driver today is Tom Hine. Mark is also doing the throttling, and their navigator is Ron Roshinsky from Orland Park, Illinois. Tom Hine hailing from Oak Brook, Illinois. So it's a Midwestern boat. Everyone's coming out from the Illinois area to come out here and race. Mark Berman really looks forward to the Key West racing that he really relishes to come out for. This boat is powered by twin BAM Marine racing engines, and they have 795 horsepower apiece with Mercruiser drives. The engines are built and maintained by Marina City Marina. The boat is rigged and maintained by Marina City Marina also, and it is probably the oldest boat in the race, being built in 1972. They've had a very good campaign for 88. They had 4 starts, 3 wins, and they were third in the 1987 World Championship. Earlier on, Vic had a chance to speak with the BAM race team.
Before we talk to Mark Berman, owner of this cigarette, Craig, a little bit about your strategy for tomorrow. The weather's going to be a little rougher than on Tuesday.
Really? I hope not.
Really?
I sure hope not. Tuesday was quite rough on the outside, and if it's rough again, my strategy is going to be the same. I have to run semi-easy on the outside and try and chase everybody down the beach. That's my strategy.
We filmed you a little while from the freeze-frame helicopter on Tuesday, and if 100 miles an hour is semi-easy, be good tomorrow. We want to wish you a safe race, okay? Okay. Mark, your strategy, big, deep V, rough water boat. I've seen this boat run before. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do tomorrow.
Well, we're going to try and get out front first and fast and see what everybody's got. And if we can keep the lead, we'll keep it. If not, we'll just have to set a pace that feels comfortable and try and burn them down.
What do you think about the competition in D-Class? Being involved with OPBRA most of the year, we've seen 6 or 8 D-boats at our races. I think there's 13 or 14 here.
I bet that the competition in D-Class is going to be stronger and closer than any other class, including Open and Superboat. I've never seen a collection of faster boats.
Sort of reminds me of the open class boats of Ajax Hawk days, huh? Another cigarette, another world-famous cigarette, and going back 5 or 6 years when open class was all deep Vs. We wish you all the best of luck tomorrow. Hope you all get a checkered flag, but have a safe race. That's the first thing.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
From the D class, we now go to Sportsman B. This boat is B611, party's over. This is a 28-foot deep V Seahawk boat. It is powered by twin 260 horsepower Mercury outboards. This boat is owned and throttled by Gary Ballo from Boca Raton, Florida. Your driver today is Mark Shannon from Davie, Florida, and your navigator today is TJ Malone from Deerfield Beach, Florida. The Party's Over race team. Class B is very, very competitive. You've got Fever, Little Miss Dangerous, Rare Breed. Party's Over is right there in that lead pack with Regal Velocity, Rare Breed, and Whiteley Racing. They're all right there, and Party's Over is holding off the Wizard right now. That's the good thing about the divisional races. We've got 4 sportsman divisional races, and they're all very competitive in their own right. And B is certainly one of the more competitive of the divisions, with many, many boats entered in B and C class as well. The Party's Over race team from Key West, Florida is looking very good at this point in the race. Party's Over. Party's Over race team took a 5th in Sundays at the Bay this year in the 88 campaign down in Florida. The Party's Over race team. Now we come up on another B division boat. This is B17, the Wizard race team. This 26 Porsche V-bottom is powered by twin 250 horsepower Mercury outboards. This boat is owned by Pedro Fernandez from Hialeah, Florida, who does the throttling, and driving today is Ricardo Hernandez, also from Hialeah. Fernandez and Hernandez making up the Wizard race team. And there, as you get a look at those engines, your port motor seems to be trimmed up a little higher than the starboard motor. Something does seem to be amiss with those engines. They've realized it, and now both motors seem to be trimmed properly. Could be telepathic the way they heard my observations on that boat, but I certainly doubt that. They just realized something was not running properly with the boat, and they've trimmed the motors properly now, and Wizard Race Team is back in the hunt as they run in that pack that you saw earlier on with the Party's Over race team. Party's Over and Wizard are running in your second group of boats in the Sportsman B division. A nice shot. That's Fever Race Team going underneath our race helicopter, and we're going to catch up to them and highlight this boat right now. This boat is B6. It's a 28-foot all-yellow Manta known as Fever Race Team. What more can we say? That should speak for itself right there. They're your Northeast national champion. They've taken a first in almost every race that they entered. From when they began at Freeport to when we ended at Barnegat Bay, they've dominated every facet of racing in the B division. It is hard for us to believe at freeze frame how a B boat can go so fast, but whatever Latona, Scrow, and McElhatton are doing, they've got this boat going really fast. That's Joe Scrow and Joe Latona have got this Fever Race Team doing something right. As we said, they're the Northeast champion, and they are certainly the boat to beat here today. They're presently in first place, holding off Little Miss Dangerous and Regal Velocity in B class. So this 28-foot Manta is powered by twin Chevy inboards with 550 horsepower apiece. This boat is owned by Joe Scrow and Joe Latona. Joe Scrow does the driving, Joe Latona does a marvelous job on the throttles, and Jim McElhatton is your navigator. These motors are built by Richie Zool and maintained by Joe Latona himself. Just listen to Joe Latona work those throttles, propelling this boat and powering the motors by Richie Zool. This boat is dialed in quite nicely, as you can see. Even when they come out of the water, not a problem for Latona and Scrow. They get right back down to business, and these motors by Zool are doing what is required of them today. They need a good run today, and they certainly are getting it. Today should be no different than anything else for the 88 campaign for the Fever Race Team. From Key West, Florida, having another fine day of racing, Joe Latona and Joe Scrow's Fever Race Team. A little earlier on, Vic Spellberg had a chance to catch up with Joe Latona and gain some of his views on today's race.
We're out here real casually sitting on the dock while Joe Latona's making some final last-minute changes to a Sportsman B boat, B6. It's going to run for the first time this whole week. Their first race starts tomorrow. Joe, what do you think about the weather? And it looks like it's going to be kind of rough.
Well, the seas, if they're a little rough, the boat usually runs better in a little chop, but that doesn't bother us. I hope it's a little rough. It slows some of the other boats down.
Totally different attitude than the people that are running the Cats. Fever, a Manta Deep V, tried and true rough water boat. I've seen it around the circuit for 5 or 6 years, running a lot of OPBRA races. Are you going to go for the lead right away or hang back and see what develops?
Probably hang back in this race. We have a few weak parts in the boat, and if we push it too hard, it may break early in the race.
You want to tell me and the rest of the competitors what the weak parts are? No, I guess not. Okay. We'll find out tomorrow. Good luck for a safe race. Safety comes first. Don't forget that. Good luck.
Now we come up on B22. This is the Lady L race team. It is a 28-foot signature deep V hull powered by twin 400 horsepower Chevrolet inboards with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and throttled by Peter Meyer from Port Washington, New York. His driver today is Anthony Lucaro, also from Port Washington, and his navigator is Thomas Lampus, also from Port Washington. The Lady L race team. Lady L has been running better than we've seen it run the entire 1988 campaign. As a matter of fact, it led the first lap of this race before relinquishing the lead to Fever just moments ago. But they're looking very strong at this point in the race. The Lady L race team would like to extend a special thanks to Guy LaMotta from Manhasset Bay Marine and Revere Super Service for the Mobil 1 Oil and B&R Performance, Peter D. Engines for building the engines, and Shore Refrigeration, who have all lent a great deal of help in providing some of the success that Lady L has enjoyed for the 1988 campaign. They've been together many, many years, and especially Guy LaMotta has been associated with Lady L for a while, and the association has certainly been a beneficial one for the Lady L race team. The Lady L race team enjoying a very good run in Key West, Florida. Meyer doing an excellent job working those throttles right now. Lady L from Key West having a very fine run. The Lady L race crew coming down from the New York area has been a great asset to Sportsman B here in Key West. They've been racing for many, many years throughout the Northeast region, and they've had some memorable duels and outstanding performances over the years, and this week should be no exception for the Lady L race team. As a matter of fact, this boat is really performing very well, but right now they seem to be coming off plane, and just as we were raving how well the Lady L race boat was performing, they seem to be slowing down slightly, but now picking it up once again. Myers got the throttles down. Whatever it was has obviously been rectified, and look at the Lady L race boat pick up the pace right now. Lady L race team having a fine day here in Key West. Lady L having a fine run once again. And now we come up to B7, Little Miss Dangerous. This is a 27-foot Predator powered by twin HMT Chevrolet motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned and throttled by Dan Humes from Mount Clemens, Michigan. His driver today is Darrell Walter, also from Mount Clemens, and Danny Davis from Detroit is the navigator. Crew members: Mark Walter is your crew chief from Michigan, and Paul and Rita Sikorsky are the PR directors, also from the Michigan area. The Little Miss Dangerous race team, they've done a fine job so far, and right now they're running in second place behind Joe Latona's Fever race team, and they are holding off Regal Velocity, who is presently in third place in Sportsman B. Little Miss Dangerous, some of the sponsors who have helped them out throughout the 88 campaign are Microplaters, Ram Chargers Performance Centers, Zytco Tire Centers, RJ Hair Care, and Eastern Marine. And a special thanks goes out to the H.N. Landgrove Company in Detroit, Michigan. That's Dan Humes, Little Miss Dangerous, having a fine run right here in Key West, Florida. Now we're going to bring you some of the competition in Sportsman C. This is C38 Marine Machine. This is a 32-foot Midnight Express powered by 3 Mercury outboard motors with 200 horsepower apiece. This boat is sponsored by Marine Machine Mayfair Performance. This is a new boat on the 88 campaign, but right now they're looking very good. They're presently running in 4th place behind Breakout, Pipeline, and Spirit of New Jersey in Sportsman C. This boat is owned and driven by Pedro Medina III from Miami, Florida. His navigator is Charles Ortiz from Miami, and Brett May from North Miami is on the throttles. The M&M race team, as they're commonly referred to, has quite a few people behind them. Alex and Yuri Perez on the crew has done a fine job. Yvette and Juan Valdres have also done a good job. And of course, his mom and dad who've done a great job. That's Mr. and Mrs. Medina, who've really done a good job in just having Pedro be here. And Pedro would like to give a special thanks to his father for all of his support and inspiration, and to all of his friends who have gotten behind the Marine Machine race team and have made it the successful race crew for the 1988 campaign, and they're certainly looking forward to 89. But right now, Pedro's mind is focused on Key West, and he's having a very good run right now. Let's sit back and enjoy. Earlier on, Vic Spellberg had a chance to catch up with Pedro Medina and the M&M race team.
We're going to make this a real short interview. It's Thursday morning, and these guys are rushing to the water, a few last-minute preparations. What do you think about the weather today? How's the V-bottom going to run?
Hopefully it's going to do okay. It's been kind of flat lately, and it's really not V-bottom weather. The cats are really going to smoke us if it gets any flatter and the wind dies down. So hopefully, if God's with us, we're going to pick up and go.
Any changes in the boat since the last race at Isla Morada?
Yeah, we did some modifications on the power heads and hopefully pump out a little bit more power. And we've been playing with the props and a little bit of modification to the bottom and straighten her out. So I think we can see a little bit better performance than then.
We're going to let you run. I know the crane's waiting for you. Marine Machine Offshore Racing Team. Good luck today. Have a safe race. Thanks a lot.
From M&M Racing, we come up to Bernie Gonzalez's boat. This is D11, the US1 Boat Manufacturing race team. This is a 30-foot US1 boat manufacturing fiberglass black catamaran hull with an all-black deck. This boat is powered by twin 400 horsepower Mercury United Racing engines with Mercruiser No. 3 Speedmaster outdrives. This boat is being driven by Richard Conti from Miami, Florida, and of course, the illustrious Bernie Gonzalez is on throttles from Miami, Florida. Bernie Gonzalez, a great racer out here in the open waters, and he's really put together a great boat company with this US1 boat manufacturing. You might recall earlier on in the pits you saw a 35-foot all-white hull. That is going to be the brand new 35-foot US1 boat manufacturing catamaran that we'll be seeing most likely in the 89 race season for Bernie. But right here he's in his 30-foot cat, and as you can see he's looking quite good right now. He's on the rough leg of the course right now, and you see the 2 to 3 foot chop. kicking up, but nonetheless, this cat is doing quite well over these rough waters. Bernie is presently running in about 5th place right now, behind Rev It Up Panama Jack and Bam, who you saw earlier on. But Bernie Gonzalez has a lot of experience, and that's Eminem on the outside, going by Bernie Gonzalez. Pedro Medina on the outside, taking Bernie Gonzalez on the inside, but nonetheless, Bernie charging hard and is looking very competitive right now. He just needs to place in the top few finishes for Thursday, and you can certainly count on Bernie Gonzalez being there Saturday. From Key West, it's Bernie Gonzalez's US 1 Boat Manufacturing. Earlier on this morning, Vic Spellberg had a chance to chat with Bernie Gonzalez and get his views on today's race.
Good afternoon from Key West, Florida. We're standing here with Bernie, owner and driver of D11, who's going to be racing tomorrow in the first race of the 2 divisional races. Bernie, what do you think the weather's going to be tomorrow?
I hope it changes. If not, it'll be a little bumpy out there.
You want it bumpier or you want it flatter?
No. I had experience with bumpy water last year.
What happened last year?
I stuffed the boat over here at about 100 miles an hour.
Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Who do you think your biggest competition's going to be tomorrow?
If it's rough, all the B-bottoms are. If it's flat, you know, the regular cats with a couple of outboards, they're pretty fast, but as far as, I'm not too concerned about them, put it that way.
Okay, well, that's Bernie and his competition plans. We wish him good luck. Good luck to a safe race.
Thank you.
Don't want to see you tomorrow.
Once again, Bernie Gonzalez enjoying a very fine run today, and we certainly look forward to seeing Bernie and his brand new 35-foot US 1 boat manufacturing catamaran as the '89 campaign kicks off. Right now we're coming up on another sea boat. This is C27, Blackjack Race Team. This is a 28-foot deep V Manta race hull powered by 3 250 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Marshall Ives from Miami, Florida. Your driver today is Dale Simmons from Miami, Florida. Andrew Ives is your navigator. And on throttles, you've got Raul Petito from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Blackjack Race Team. They've had a relatively successful 1988 campaign down in the Florida waters. And Marshall's brought the boat out and his entire Blackjack race crew to see what they've got to put it forth for the 1988 World Championships. They're presently running with Dam Manta, Marine Machine, who you saw earlier on, and they have a slight lead over the Black Sunday Race Team. From Key West, Florida, it's Marshall Ives, C27 Blackjack Race Team. Marshall Ives C27 Blackjack race team having a very fine run. And now we come up on B88, the boat known as Rare Breed. This is a 32-foot Tempest powered by twin 500 horsepower Chevy Merc Cruiser inboards with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned and driven by Bill Gifford from Abascon, New Jersey. His navigator today is Susan Gifford, and on throttles they've got Mark Tangos. It's a three-man crew today. The Rare Breed race team had a very fine 88 campaign in the Northeast region. Very dependable. They took predominantly second and third places in all the races that they entered, and they finished in a very solid position in the Northeast points for the national title. But right now, Rare Breed is having a very fine run. They're presently in third place behind Fever and Little Miss Dangerous, who you saw earlier on in the telecast. They're hanging very strong right now, and they're trying to close the gap between themselves and Little Miss Dangerous. From Key West, Florida, it's the Rare Breed race team. A little earlier on, Vic Spellberg had a chance to catch up with the navigator of Rare Breed, Susan Gifford.
We're here in the pits Thursday morning with Susan from B88 Rare Breed Racing Team. I know you got a lot to do this morning, but real quick question while you're on the way to put the boat in the water. Weather conditions, how's it going to affect you?
Well, we were hoping for a little more wind than what we have this morning, but what we plan to do is let the pack go, and we have a nice big heavy boat, and we plan to get them in the rough water.
Sort of sit back and watch what happens, right?
Yep. See what happens with the attrition rate, and not that we need that to win or to do well, but we have a good rough water boat, and that's what we're counting on today.
Okay, the weather conditions today seem to be a little more wind, but out of a different direction than on Tuesday. They say it'll be a little windier, but not quite so rough. So best of luck to you today, and we'll catch up with you Saturday and see how you did.
Okay, thanks a lot.
This boat is B46 Regal Velocity. It is a 30-foot deep V Velocity powered by twin 340 horsepower OMC inboards with the OMC Cobra outdrives. There you get a good look at that Regal Velocity. This boat is owned by Gene Whipp from Sarasota, Florida. Your driver today is Steve Kildall from Sarasota, and Steve Stepp is on the throttles from Lake Mary, Florida. Regal Velocity charging very hard right now as they're beginning to head toward the finish and this final run toward the start-finish boat in today's leg of the World Championships. There you see them going by Rare Breed. That's Rare Breed, who was in third place, has just been overtaken by Regal Velocity on the inside. Rare Breed seems to be way off the pace right now, not running nearly as strong as they were earlier on. Perhaps they are experiencing some mechanical problems. We'll have to wait and get a report on them. But nonetheless, Regal Velocity is running away from them for third place. Regal Velocity making a great move to take third place for today's race, barring any mishaps. From Regal Velocity, we go to B41, Cracked Conch. This is a 28-foot Manta powered by twin 200-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and driven by George Cabanas Sr. from Key West, Florida, who also does the navigating, and on throttles he's got Ronnie Martinez from Key West. This is a local entry. That's George Cabanas Sr. as your driver, George Cabanas Jr. as your navigator, and Martinez on the throttles. It's a Key West boat with a Key West crew, so they do know the waters very well. They have a lot of favorites out here. Earlier on, we saw a lot of Cracked Conch race fans, and they're all out here to support the Cracked Conch race team. There you see them, very comfortable in the race hull. The Cracked Conch race team from Key West, Florida. It is owned by Gene Whip, also from Sarasota, Florida. Your driver today is Richard Middleton from Longboat Key, Florida. Dale Ream is your navigator, and Rich Middleton is also doing the throttling. Team Gulfwind looking very competitive right now. In A-Class, Snakebite, Lucky Strike, and Cheap Thrills 2 are your top 3 boats, and Team Gulfwind is in your second pack of the next 3 to 4 boats in the middle of Sportsman A. So once again, a decent finish here could really set the stage for a classic duel in Saturday's final running, where they could be in it. There you see another one of the viewing helicopters fly right over Gene Whip's head. Well, not Gene Whip's head, but Gene Whip's boat. That was a very close right there with that other helicopter. Team Gulfwind from Key West, Florida. The boat owned by Gene Whip, being driven by Rich Middleton, and being navigated by Dale Ream. The Team Gulfwind race team from Key West, Florida. From Team Gulfland, who you just saw enjoying a rather rough ride, we come to A30 Lethal Weapon. This is a 24-foot deep V Switzer powered by a single 470 horsepower Mercury inboard with a Bravo outdrive. This boat is owned and driven by Mike O'Connell from Rochester, New York, and on throttles he's got Scott Sponholtz from Henrietta, New York. The Lethal Weapon race team. And the crew members who also play a big part in this race are Skip Polar, Art Wood, and Howard Schwartz, all hailing from the Rochester, New York area. This is the Switzer's first competition with offshore hull design, and it has been proven to work very, very nicely for them, especially in the rough waters. And today was certainly a good place to test it out. A30, the Lethal Weapon race team from Key West, Florida. They're presently running toward the middle of the pack in A class, but they hope to have a fairly good finish and try to come on very strong in Saturday's finals. There you see the view of the Switzer with another helicopter photographing them. A lot of activity out here in the World Championships in Key West, Florida. Right now we're going to stay with Lethal Weapon as they charge home, heading toward Mallory Square and your start-finish boat. And in just moments, we'll be bringing you our final results for the first round of the 1988 Offshore World Cup Championships from Key West, Florida for the divisional sportsman classes. There you see them start approaching the city of Key West. But once again, remember, we will not be able to fly into the Mallory Square airspace and show you the final finish of today's race. But in just moments, we're going to stay with them as long as we can, and we're just moments away from bringing you the final results of today's run. Some of the other boats have already finished. They're heading toward the pits again and figuring out what they must do. But here you see Lethal Weapon coming in on their final checkpoint. They have the start-finish boat in sight, and they're heading toward it right now. A very good run for this first-time maiden voyage, so to speak, for